So if you've been here for the last few weeks, you'll know that we've been looking at the books of Ezra and Nehemiah. A quick look back, right at the beginning, if you can remember that far back. Estelle brought us a great timeline of events that led Ezra and Nehemiah, along with a few thousand people, some great provisions. I still can't get over the amount of salt they took. And that was good. And they went there to rebuild the temple, begin it, and restart rebuilding the walls. Elaine encouraged us to get involved with the building work. And she brought to us people who were, oh, all right then, but I'll help. You know, she brought to us a guy and his daughters who helped build walls. Well, you see, you make a cake afterwards, and they call it granary. So, and she also said that there was workers, goldsmiths, and workers in precious metals. But she also said that when we face opposition, everything we have, all your opposition, you think, I'm getting. Tony spoke of the generosity of the people that gave so much. People around, you know, the people who got the wood from the forests and the cedar wood and the oaks and everything to come and build. So there was great provision given. And he tied that in with our gift day, our giving to this church, for the building that we're looking at. And to be honest, I think 19,000 is a fantastic amount from this church to give. Isn't it? That is just, well, I got very excited. But he also said that if you don't give, you can still give prayer. You can still bring your prayers to God. And we can fast. Nick encourages us all to be pirates. Here we go, get ready for the laugh. Because all the significant words began with "Arr." Well done, you nearly got there. It's all right, this side was a bit quiet, that side was fun. Words like revival, remembrance, repentance, reading the Bible. So I want to give you an overview of chapters 11 and 12. So, not up there yet. This bit isn't going up there. So, from chapter 11, verse 3. So, verse 3, chapter 11, all the way through to verse 26 in chapter 12, we find a whole list of names. It's a long list of names. You can go home and read them afterwards if you want. There were lots of people's names in there. From verses 27 to 47 in chapter 12, we read that the building work is complete. The building work's complete. It's time to dedicate the city, dedicate the walls, dedicate the gates, dedicate the people to God. Let's dedicate it all to God. Because that's what we want to do. Dedicate everything. There were some people who had jobs in the temple, and people came in, and there was priests, Levites, and there was gatekeepers and singers. All these people were there. And coming towards the end, section from 27. It ends with a celebration. And for me, that is where I would love this book to finish. With a party. Nehemiah, you've done everything. Let's celebrate. Let's have a party. But it doesn't. One more chapter, and that chapter is there's always something else. There's just always something else. Chapter 13 is that something. Right, so I'm not going to mention that because that's the next person. So that is chapter 11, verse 1. And it's up there. It says, now the leaders of the people settled in Jerusalem. So we've got Jerusalem, we've got the temple built, we've got the priests, we've got the Levites there, we've got the singers, we've got the people working in the temple to keep the things going. We've had the people building the walls, they're still there. And it was quite a number of people. Still very few people in the city. Very few, as I would say, ordinary people living in the city. So it would have been a nice city, but just like everybody else, all the leaders and the Levites and the priests. Invite other people in. The solution that they came up with is still in verse 1. The rest of the people lots to bring out one of every 10 to live in Jerusalem, the holy city, while the remaining 9 would stay living in the outside, living in the villages and the towns around. Tony mentioned about this, that you've got all these people coming in to help with the building, but if you brought sheep and everything, and choose one out of every 10. Now, as I understand it, as I read this, and you can think about this while you read it over your lunch this afternoon. What follows from verse 3 to verse 19 is a list of those who left their old life and going and living in Jerusalem. So that is the list that we get. Now from verses 20 to 36, we find there's a list just of the surrounding villages that these people came from. And then chapter 12, verses 1 to 26, begins with the names of the priests and the Levites who came. So you've got another two long lists of people. So I want you to imagine the scene, because you're very good at this. Imagine the scene. Messengers are sent out into the town. This is what I think they say. Basically, guys, hiya, welcome, lovely to see you, and everything. Probably know Jerusalem's finished. Not finished, but temple's been built, and the walls have been built. We've got the priests, and we've got the Levites. We've got that group of people over there, they're doing that job. We've got that group of people over there doing that job. What we want now is what we want now, you. This is how we're going to do it. We just want you people. This is how we're going to do it. So they all get together and have a little I read that. In one commentary, so they had dice. It's biblical. They used to do this before then. But they rolled dice, or die, if you want to be politically correct. They rolled the dice. And if your number came up, you was asked to go and live in the city. You just roll it up. Now, I would suspect, and this is where this commentary, trading camp. Do you want to go live in Jerusalem? And you went, actually, kids settled in school. I don't want to go. You don't have to. So they'd roll the dice again to find a family who would volunteer, who would willingly up sticks and go and live in Jerusalem. I want to take us on a diversion on our journey. I'm going to go to Luke chapter 14. Dinner party. Jesus is at a dinner party. He tells a couple of stories and he's watching people as they go along. Is this from the Message? It could be. But I'm going to read it from the Message. So Jesus follows up this story. Somebody asked him a question and he says, yeah, there was once a man who threw a great dinner party. Invited many. When it was time for dinner, servants to the invited guests. Sent out his servant to the invited guests. Come on in, the food's on the table. And they all began to beg off, one after another, making excuses. The first said, well, I bought a piece of property and I need to look it over. Send my rep. Sorry about that. Another one said, I've just bought a team of oxen. Combined harvester. I've just bought a brand new one. And I want to go and check them out. I want to just go and see the way. Another one said, I've just got married and I need to get home to my wife. I'm like, oh, well, okay then. So say no more. So the servant went back and told the master what had happened. And he was outraged and told the servant, quickly get out there into the city streets and the alleyways. Collect all who look like they need a square meal. All the misfits, the homeless, the down and outs, you can lay your hands on. The servant reported back, Master, I've done what you commanded, and there's still room. The master said, then go to the country roads, find whoever you want. I want my house full. Not one of those originally invited. Suppose you wrote a list. Families that you would love to invite. I think some of you are going through it already in your minds. You're just like, oh, yeah. Them are on the list. Them are my top 10 I'm going for. I could probably guarantee that some of them would say to you, I know I've got friends, I know I've got family. They don't want to know about it. What if each of us took that same? These are my invited guests. These are the people I want to see. I want to see in the kingdom. Suppose God looked at your list. may be totally different from the ones that man in the story that Jesus told. He wanted to invite those top 10. It's probably not, but those top, they're the ones I want in my kingdom. Ended up bringing in people he most said that WFC were more like lifeguard stations along the beach. After, right, he said, don't look at the lifeboat that's in the harbour. The lifeguard who is on duty doesn't look at people who are in really wrong colour skin, whoever needs. She doesn't rescue one person that day. Looking out for people. We're on duty for God all the time. You have not got a day off. Now, people may not be physically drowning. I only know one person, and that's Sue. If somebody was drowning, she loves going in cold water. I'd just go, Sue, go for it. The rest is just like, oh, no, I just think. They may not be physically drowning. They may need rescuing from financial difficulty. They may need rescuing from drug and alcohol abuse. They may need rescuing from loneliness. Called to always keep our eyes out. If we only offer help and the good news of Jesus, might be missing out those others. I'm not saying don't stop praying for them. No, thank you very much. Don't want to know anything about you. It says turn round and just shake the dust off your feet. Looks like, I'm not interested. Leave that. Somebody else might come to rescue. Those in need. We've missed the whole point of the cross. Missed the whole point of what Jesus did. for everyone, not just for ones on your list. I like it where in the message where he says, just go in that passage. He says, just don't drag people in. Come on, get in the kingdom. Well, no, don't. I upset a few people. Sort of an urgency. Back to Nehemiah, the temple is built. Jerusalem are rebuilt. We've got protection. The priests and those serving in the temple are in place. We can bring our people are coming into the city. 12, verse 27 onwards. The Levites were brought out from where they lived and were brought to Jerusalem to celebrate joyfully the dedication with songs of thanksgiving, with music of cymbals, harps, and lyres. The musicians were all brought together from around the region, from the villages, from Netophathah, that one anyhow, so basically crossways, and from Bel-Gilgath, and from the area around Geba and Asmaveth, for the musicians had built villages for themselves. Priests and the Levites had purified themselves. Only they purified the people. It's party time. You've got to that stage. It is now Nehemiah 31, chapter 12, 31. One big choir together. Musicians, cymbals, drums, flutes, trombones, the lot. He brings them all together. And he gets the priests and the Levites up on top of the walls with all this big choir. Now Ezra is still there. And he takes half of his choir that way around the city. Nehemiah gets half of the choir and everybody else and takes them that way around the city. And they all meet up at the temple to celebrate. In verse 43, on that day they offered great sacrifices, rejoicing because God had given them great joy. The women and children also rejoiced. Miles away. Have you got that picture in your head? Jerusalem is built. The city walls are built. I mean, they've got to be quite, it's not a narrow path. But the city walls are quite big. To get a whole choir on there, priests, Levites, people, drummers, you lot go first, that one there. These are wide walls. People are celebrating. This is a magnificent. Feel the excitement. Work is finished. I mean, we got excited just here when the kitchen was finished. Kitchen's finished. We can cook forever. Yay, let's do it. I can imagine the people going to see one of them. I mean, we did this here actually, but we did. But imagine this, that people were going, hey, have you seen the work on the gates? There's a lot of gates. It's going to take us a while to get round. But have you seen the work that people have built? Have you seen the lintels? I mean, we don't talk about lintels. We don't talk. What are those called that you just put above the windows? Keystones. Have you seen the keystones? I mean, obviously, we'll walk around afterwards celebrating. But have you seen those? Hey, let's go and have a look at the temple. That's built, that's built. We can just walk around it. That's going to be good. That's lots of gold. It's very shiny. But we can go and see it. Hey, Elaine, would you take us to that wall where that woman, where that fellow was with his daughters? Show us that bit of wall. People, can you get this? Dave and Karen, would you re-show us the kitchen? Have you been in? Have you just gone from what it was to what it is? That is amazing. Must have been a great celebration. And it was loud. It was loud. On in Revelation, John sees a vision of a new Jerusalem, much better than the one we read. Much, much better. You can close your eyes if you want, just to get a hold of this description, or you can just read it up there. So, I don't know. So one of the seven angels said to me, "Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb." And he carried me away in the Spirit to a mountain great and high, and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. It shone with the glory of God, and its brilliance was like that of very precious jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. It had a great high wall and 12 gates, and with 12 angels at the gates. On the gates were written the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. There were 3 gates on the east, 3 on the north, 3 on the south, 3 on the west. The wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. The angel who talked with me had a measuring rod of gold to measure the city, its gates and its walls. The city was laid out like a square, as long as it was wide. He measured the city with a rod and found it to be 12,000 stadia in length, wide and as high as it is long. The angel measured the wall using human measurement. It was 144 cubits thick. The wall was made of jasper, the city of pure gold, as pure as glass. The foundations of the city walls were decorated with every kind of precious stone. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, the fourth emerald, the fifth onyx, the sixth ruby, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th turquoise, the 11th jacinth, 12th amethyst. The 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each gate was made of a single pearl. The great street of the city was of gold, as pure as transparent glass. I did not see a temple in the city, because the Lord, God Almighty, the city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. The nations will walk by its light. The kings of the earth will bring their splendor to it. On no day will its gates ever be shut, for there will be no night there. The glory and honor of the nations will be brought into it. Nothing impure will ever enter it. That chapter closes with the only people to enter it are those whose names are in the Lamb's book of life. That list of names is more extensive than the ones that we've struggled with in Ezra. It is a huge list of names. With that list of names, we don't get to say who's on it. Spend our time waiting and praying and hoping that that one person accepts Jesus. family out of 10 chose to go to live as John saw in a vision, who would choose not to accept what people do? There will be a day when this world is all going to be wrapped up. There will be that day. Until then, God is waiting on us. Verse 2 in chapter 11 says, those honoured by everyone else. Luke 15 verse 7, tell you the truth. In the same way that there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over the 99 righteous persons. More rejoicing over one. Can you imagine angels, archangels, all those we love who are in heaven going, yes, yes, we're in. That is the rejoicing, and that is probably happening every day. I offer a challenge. We inviting. Who would be on our list? More importantly, the question could be,